I have a drafting table. My mom was a graphic artist, and I have her old wooden drafting table. I actually leave out my supplies. So, I work full time as a librarian, which is a really demanding job. I don't always have a lot of time to be in the studio, so when I do have time, I want to capitalize on it. That's one decision I've made as an artist. When I decided not to go and get an MFA and not to be a full-time artist, I knew that I was going to have to somehow figure out my schedule so that I could still make my work. And so my drafting table is always out. I have an entire room for my work, and my drafting table is always out, and I usually leave work that I'm working on out. And I clean up, but I also leave certain things out, like I'll leave clean water and a paintbrush and watercolor out, or I'll leave the pens that I'm working on out, so that if I have 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 2 hours, I can just, on my way, swing by the studio and work. It's kind of a free-for-all in the studio sometimes. Sometimes I have a very set goal. I will say there are going to be 3 colors, it's going to be this size, I want this to be the overall outcome and feel. And then sometimes it's just coming in, picking something up, and doing sort of a chore or a 15-minute, I'm going to do this for 15 minutes, this for 15 minutes, and this for 15 minutes. So there isn't always a final process. I said I'm about process as an artist, but it's not always set. I think when you get set and you kind of have your total routine, you can get really stagnant and the work doesn't feel like it's fresh and new every time. And so I try and stay away from that and vary up the rules that I'm doing when I'm in the studio.